Delta Team 2-3 backup requested with full riot gear. Situation is 1034.
I want to talk about stepfathers and why we shouldn't even be calling. Either you have a stepfather. No. I want to talk about stepfathers and why we shouldn't even be calling them stepfathers no more. You either have a father or no father. You know what I'm saying? There's no in between. A lot of times, stepfather is like, in itself, is disrespectful. Like, I grew up my whole life calling my father my stepfather because I looked at it like he wasn't my biological father. But this is the man who's taking care of me, make sure I got a roof over my head, all that, and I'm disrespecting him by calling him my stepfather. So I've been thinking the past few weeks, like, how can we fix that? Like, because I come from an environment where, like, you grow up feeling like a victim. So even though I got a father, a two-parent household, I'm running around like, I don't got no father, as an excuse for my behavior. Meanwhile, it's a man in the house that's basically playing the position of father. Like, the only difference is he can't tell me nothing because I ain't trying to hear it. Because when you go out into the world, oh, that ain't your father. It's like, I kind of wish that my mom would have made him legally adopt me. I took his last name, all that. So this way, you grow up feeling like that's your father. I mean, when they have a child, you don't feel left out like, oh, that's daycare, oh, that's my half sister or something. Because you feel like y'all have the same parents, you know what I'm saying? And it's just very disrespectful. Like, this man has to buy you shoes, make sure you got this and that, the necessities of life, and you running around talking about, I ain't got no father. So it's like, how do we fix that? And this is the part where it gets slippery because it's like, part of fixing it is when if their relationship doesn't work and this woman gets lucky enough to find a man that wants to marry her, now that's the kid's father now. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of a slippery slope, especially when you're talking about teenagers who've already been established with their dad. But what about little children who've only spent 2-3 years with their father? The mother splits with the father, then she moves on, finds a husband. Now the kid's running around like he got two fathers. We try to make that shit seem normal, but that's actually a dysfunctional family. You gotta go to your father's house on the weekends. I won't say it's dysfunctional, but it's not normal. You know what I'm saying? It's not, and nobody talks about the outcome of that. Like, is it even worth it? Like, when two people split, does the kid get affected if she gets a new husband and he only gets to see his father on the weekend? Because we always talk about what happens to a child when he has an absent father, like no father at all. But what about when a father, he only sees his father on the weekends? What are the statistics of those children? And nobody ever talks about it. And I kind of want to know. Like, what's the statistics of the kids who've been co-parented? You know why we ain't got none? Because that's some new shit. You know what I'm saying? Usually when the man is done with the woman, he's sort of done with the children. Because I seen something Corey Holcomb said recently. He was saying, when you fall out of love with a woman, you didn't have to try, like, morally to be there for your children, but it's not the same as when you're in love with a woman and you're raising kids with her. And that's true. A lot of people don't want to admit that because it's some fucked up shit to say, but it's true. You have to now, oh shit. Okay, we're gonna have to, okay. We had a low battery instance, but you have to now tell yourself, all right, I gotta be there for my son. It's not coming just you waking up, just being dad, you know what I'm saying? So if she finds a new man that's in the house and the kid is waking up to this guy now, is it fair to let that man be the kid's father, especially if he wants to? Like, if he's willing to take on this child, instead of all of this toxic shit going to your father's house and we beefing, all right, that's my son now. That's why even messing with a woman who has children, that's a hell of something to take on, because you might not be appreciated for everything that you do to the kid is 40 years old, like me. So it's like it's a job you got to be really prepared for, because every child, some kids might not never, like, you got 40-year-old men who be like, man, fuck that nigga, like. So it's like, you might not ever be thanked for the job. So that's why I say don't even do it. But if you gonna do it, be a father. Fuck all that step shit. Go in the crib, take over the crib. This is your crib now. These my kids now, and that's that. You know what I'm saying? That's what I wish would have happened in my situation. 'Cause my father wasn't around at all. So if my father would have came in there and been on some, this is my crib, this is my son. I would have grew up on some. I got a father. I ain't. You know what I'm saying? And some of that victim shit you place on yourself, you can't. You can't say you ain't got no father. You can't say this and that. I used a lot of excuses that I shouldn't even been able to use. I had a father. This nigga's going. I watch this nigga go to work every day. But when I'm out and about, I ain't got no pops. My mom's got a husband. Like, that's how we talk. That's some ignorant shit. This man was willing to be there. If anything, I'm pushing him away just on some ignorant hood nigga shit, man. Fuck that, you know what I mean? Instead of embracing, I'm yearning for a man who's not thinking about me, probably don't know my birthday. And it's a person in the house buying me gifts on my birthday. And I'm on some fuck this nigga, that ain't my pops. I think that's toxic in itself, you know what I'm saying? We need to start, if the kid ain't got no daddy and you're willing to be there and step in the house, marry her, all right, that's your kid now. They get your last name and everything. Now that's your legacy. When he have kids, they have your last name too. That's what we gotta start doing. Because this respected men that raised you when you're 40 years old, that ain't it. I got honest, that's not it. I should have been had respect for this man. I should have been buying him gifts on Father's Day and doing all the things that I would have did for my biological father. Because this is the position that this man is playing, you know what I'm saying? I was today years old when I realized these things, but I could change it by telling you, you know what I'm saying? You know, so it's like, I'm at the point in my life where it's like, I will never disrespect my father again by calling him my stepfather. I will never run around and talk about, I grew up without a pops and I'm lying. Who the fuck am I lying to? I grew up with a father. He was there. Even if he wasn't, like, as far back as I can remember, he was there. I think he got my mom when I was like maybe 5, 6 years old. But even my memories of like Christmas when he wasn't with my mom, like if I can remember Christmas when I was 3 years old, because he was in my life so long, in my memory, he just was in the next room or something. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, oh, he just wasn't around, but he's still in the memory, even if he wasn't. That's how long he's been in my life. And I disrespect him by saying I ain't had no father when I don't even have a memory of him not in my life. Like, do you remember when you met your aunt? Like, you don't remember the first time you met your aunt. You don't know if you was 2, a baby, 5. You just, your whole memory in your life is your aunt there. Like, that's the same memory I have of my father. And yet, I don't know. I just told myself I had no father. Shit's dumb. So, shit changes today, feel me? And shit changes for you too.